Today we hear Jesus' final words to the disciples, and these are words of both encouragement and purpose. He says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit." But the first word is the most important. He simply says, "Go." Our Lord is a Lord who is constantly on the move. And thus, as followers of Jesus, we are likewise always a people in motion, always on this journey of faith and newness. And so if we want to be with Jesus, we need to go where Jesus goes. This may come as no surprise to you, but most people in our mainline denominations in this country today, the majority of them, the vast majority, are over the age of 50. And again, that's really no great surprise if we look around. Fewer and fewer people today are attending mainline denominations. And the cause is really quite simple. So many congregations are content to simply keep things as they are. William Willimon reminds us that early in our country's history, churches had a pattern of moving, and they would move with the population to wherever that new frontier is. Well, that new frontier today, he suggests, is a generation not geographically removed, but a whole generation of young adults who are not being reached because we don't communicate in the same way they do. And thus this morning's gospel presses, I believe, a very challenging question. Will we go where Jesus goes? Let me raise it again. Will we go where Jesus goes? Well, as I said, today's population continues to be on the move more than ever. Geographically, yes, but even more so perhaps technologically. And yet so many of our churches and our approaches to ministry remain so slow to move and adapt. So much of our focus and our energy is expended on maintenance, trying to hang on desperately to a static environment where people once were, rather than going to where people are now. This may also come as a shock to you, but beginning 40 years ago, in the early 70s, that's when the Lutheran Church peaked. At least in the ELCA, which was a predecessor group of 3 other church bodies, we were at a total of over 5 million, all right? 5 million members as Lutherans, not counting Missouri Synod, Wisconsin Synod, and some of those other expressions of the Lutheran Church. But in the last 40 years, we have been in a steady state of decline. In the last 40 years, we have lost close to 1 million members, and the trend continues. Still, Jesus continues to be on the move in so many new ways. But again, the question and the great challenge to us is, will we go with him where he goes? Last month, I had the privilege of attending a national conference that addressed this very issue. It was a conference attended by over 100 senior pastors of the 100 largest churches in the ELCA, and we are a part of that. And we were invited to come together to discuss and promote new ways to both examine what's happening in our churches today, not just Lutheran churches, but across the board throughout America, and what we can do to address it. And one of the most compelling presentations came from Beth Lewis, who is president and CEO of Augsburg Fortress. Today's gospel serves as a perfect catalyst for her presentation. And so I'd like us to consider what she has shared with us and with all the church today. Let's go back one, Scott. Her topic was called Generations, Hospitality, not for some, but for all. All right? Okay, let's go to the next one. Currently, we have a large lifespan in this country. We have more people living than ever before. And currently, we have 5 generations who may be present in any congregation. You have the GI group. These are people who are age 85 and older, born as early as 1901. We have the builder group, people who were born in 1927 up to 1945, and their ages are in parentheses. We have boomers, born between 46 and 64. I find myself smack in the middle of that group. We have the Gen X group, These are our members born from 65 to 81, and then the millennials, born anytime between 1982 and 2006. The church is made up of so many people today. Go ahead. Well, the builders are that second group, again, anywhere ages 66 to 84. What's unique about them? They are they are wealthier, more physically fit than they used to be, and they are savvy customers. Their unique formative years began in the 30s, ran to the 60s. They're unique because they did suffer through depression, the threat of Cold War, and yet enjoyed prosperities of the 50s and 60s. They tend to be conservative, an attitude of don't rock the boat. They are very, very loyal, especially denominationally as well as politically. And as they age, A, they connect with grandchildren, B, think and act quite young, and C, love to travel. Great thing. The boomers. This is the group that probably has had the most press and written about them of all these groups. But again, we know a lot about boomers. They found their formative years, the 50s to the early 80s. Their values include a very powerful message of idealism, a strong sense of right and wrong, a sense of empowerment, an attitude, we can make a difference. Boomers get a lot done. Experienced family of origin has a strong unit, a blessing of our parents. Live life to the fullest, believing that we have unlimited opportunities, very career-driven, extremely competitive. Boomers oftentimes are recognized as this dual career generation. But as a result, many boomers struggle with marriage. We see a high divorce rate in this group. Also, boomers struggle with parenting, sometimes neglecting children in the midst of trying to do it all. They tend to be quite brilliant, though, in the workplace. They define self in terms of accomplishment. There's no rush to retirement because they think they're going to live forever. I know I am. Not really. We have a forever young mentality, right? Free-spirited, boisterous, comfortable in the spotlight, and of course, consumption-oriented. Now, our churches are pretty good at reaching builders and boomers, but what about the rest? This is staggering. Who is in our mainline churches? If you look to the far left, the tallest bar, you will see that builders in your age group, okay, 65% of you who are builders in this country belong to some church. In my group, the boomers, only 35% of our age group either belong or attend any church. Then look where it goes. The next generation down, Gen X, 18%. You see how things are getting cut down in half? Only 18% attend or belong to a church. And millennials, I have two sons in this age group, Naomi and I do, who are ages 24 and 27. In their group, 4%. 4% either attend or belong to a mainline denominational church. What makes Gen Xers Gen Xers? They are the first generation of latchkey kids because, as you mentioned, the dual career launched that pretty much. The formative years were the 70s, 80s, and 90s. They will tell you that much of their life is about survival. Again, widespread divorce. 40% were raised in single-parent households. Parents lacked time to spend with kids, dual career or single-parent households. And permissiveness became such an issue. Parents compensating for their lack of time. They are a very mobile society, many of them attending, thus, multiple schools. The core values of this group include independence and self-reliance, no question why there. They also have high expectations of having it all now and wanting it now. Many of them see marriage as disposable because of the divorce rate among their parents. Non-racist, non-judgmental generation, on the other hand. And in this group, we begin to see a strong female generation where the males are seeking their identity and masculinity. A few ways to reach the Gen X generation. A high-quality website is an entry point for them to the church. More intentional connection with preschool and school-age families. We can help them connect through community and service events. And this is probably one of the most important things. When we ask Where are they in our churches? We have to ask, are we providing this? Multi-sensory worship. Not only what we hear, but what we see.